As everybody really knows, or you may have heard today, a group of more than 50 medical professionals from across the Commonwealth have endorsed Terry McAuliffe to be our next governor. These folks have stepped up and voiced their support for Terry because he has shown the real leadership that we need to keep Virginians safe and healthy, get everybody vaccinated, and get us through this devastating pandemic. Today, you will hear from Dr. Joseph Saccharin and Dr. Vivian Pierce McDaniel. They're here with us to discuss their support for Terry and the stakes in this election. These folks have been on the front lines of COVID-19 since the beginning. They've cared for the sickest Virginians, and they've seen firsthand the damage and the pain caused by this virus. So I want to start off first by thanking them for the work that they have done and are doing to care for the people of the Commonwealth and help keep everyone safe and healthy. So that's why we're here today, to talk about keeping Virginia safe and healthy. And there's only one candidate in the race for governor who has plans to do that. That's Terry McAuliffe. And he knows the only way to put this pandemic behind us is to get all eligible Virginians vaccinated. That is why just last week, Terry released his Virginia is for Vaccine Lovers policy plan that outlines his vision to get every eligible Virginian vaccinated to protect people and keep the economy strong. And just yesterday, Terry called on childcare providers across the Commonwealth to require their staff to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19, following new reporting on the uptick of COVID-19 hospitalizations of children. While Terry has demonstrated real leadership on tackling COVID-19, Glenn Youngkin is advancing a reckless policy agenda that would put Virginians' health and our economy at risk. On the debate stage last week, Glenn stated something, it's just really unbelievable. He opposes requiring nurses treating immunocompromised cancer patients to be vaccinated. And if that wasn't enough, he continues to spread dangerous anti-science, anti-vaccination rhetoric by opposing mask and vaccine mandates, and even encouraging students to take a non-medical and non-religious exemption to avoid getting vaccinated. He's also said that he would model his governorship after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Now that's some failed leadership right there that he wants to model after. He's even called bills to withhold funding for schools due to shutdown due to the high COVID infection rates. Isn't that just crazy? It's reckless and it's dangerous. And his lack of leadership on COVID-19 is so dangerously wrong for Virginia. Lives are at stake in this very election. We need a leader who will follow the science and lead to get all Virginians vaccinated. It's the only way we are going to put this pandemic behind us. That's why we need Terry McAuliffe, who has a plan to keep Virginia safe, schools open, and Virginia open for businesses by embracing and trusting the science and showing real leadership. With that, now I would like to introduce Dr. Joe Saccharin to say a few words. Dr. Saccharin.
Thanks so much, Chairwoman Swecker. And it's great to be here today with all of you to talk about the importance of vaccines and public health measures to keep Virginians safe. And honestly, about how vital this governor's race is in the fight to do just that, as it's going to decide the next 4 years of leadership in our great state. And this is exactly why I'm supporting Terry McAuliffe, because he has proven he's a real leader when it comes to COVID-19, with the commitment to ensure that we get all Virginians vaccinated. And that will allow us to dig our way outside of this pandemic. And this is the type of leadership that we need on day one. When you look, Terry has led by example in his own campaign, requiring all staff to be vaccinated And he has led the way on calling for all Virginia employers to require full vaccination of their employees. And when you ask the question, why is he fighting for these policies? I think it's actually quite simple. It's because Terry knows that this is the key to keeping our Commonwealth safe and healthy, and to ensuring that we keep Virginia's economy open and strong. Unfortunately, not everyone sees it as clear as Terry does. And in fact, his opponent is doing the exact opposite. He's pushing a dangerous agenda that further puts Virginians at greater risk, and of course, prolongs this devastating pandemic. You know, Youngkin's steadfast opposition to all vaccine requirements, including those for healthcare workers, as you heard the chairwoman mention, who by the nature of what they do end up interacting with Virginia's most vulnerable patients, is dangerously out of touch with the type of leadership needed to keep communities safe. And when you make promises to roll back COVID safety measures, if elected, not only does that not move us forward, but it would also take us backwards in this fight against this virus. It's also, frankly, incredibly irresponsible when you have Youngkin encouraging Virginians to claim non-religious, non-medical exemptions for whatever reason, as he said, in order to avoid taking the vaccine. That in and of itself should be disqualifying. You know, since last March, it's estimated that we've had over 800,000 cases of COVID in Virginia. And I think it's easy to sometimes get caught up in the numbers. But what's clear to me as a critical care doctor is that these are not just numbers and statistics. These are moms, dads, brothers and sisters. These are members of our community, people that make up the fabric of our society. And they deserve a governor with a plan and the leadership to keep our community safe and with a vision to defeat this pandemic. And that governor will be Terry McAuliffe, because Terry understands that the only way we'll keep our children safe and each other safe and get through this pandemic is to get every eligible Virginian vaccinated. And Terry will support and encourage measures that will save lives, keep folks out of hospitals, and keep our children both safe and in school. So I just want to encourage all of you, everyone, please get vaccinated. It's safe, it's effective. We have to be working together to make sure that we're keeping each other safe. So thank you for having me. And I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Dr. McDaniel.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. It is great to be here with all of you. And I want to thank my fellow healthcare professionals for speaking out today. Over the course of this pandemic, I have seen the impacts of this virus on our elderly and most vulnerable population up close, and I have seen the vaccine work. The vaccine has quite literally been a lifesaver to our long-term care residents and patients in Virginia. It has not only prevented severe illness in our facilities, but it has also prevented this deadly disease from being just that. Unfortunately, even with the vaccine, our patients continue to be the most susceptible to this virus because of the unvaccinated. Science has shown that the vaccine works. It reduces the transmission of the virus, especially from one fully vaccinated person to another. And that's why we say, as healthcare professionals, that it is important for everyone to get vaccinated. When everyone is vaccinated, the virus is less likely to be transmitted, which makes it more difficult for COVID-19 to make its way into our long-term care facilities and threaten the lives of our elderly and vulnerable. I cannot stress enough the importance of getting everyone vaccinated. It's the only way that we will end this pandemic and save lives. Terry McAuliffe knows that too. He is the only person in this governor's race who has a plan to get every healthcare worker and every Virginian vaccinated to protect our long-term care residents and our Commonwealth. He has followed the science and guidance from the top public health experts and has been leading on COVID-19 and the vaccine from day one. He is the right leader. Let me say that again. He is the right leader for this moment. And I know he will get everyone vaccinated in Virginia. Terry has a plan to end this pandemic and to keep Virginia safe and healthy. And he has our backs as healthcare workers. And that's why I am supporting Terry McAuliffe for governor. Thank you very much.